So this is my Raw review. The last Raw on USA Network. It's not the last Raw for us in India. I think the last Raw will probably be the Raw which will happen at March end. The Raw SmackDown. Then all will move to Netflix. But uh, this is my review of the last Raw of 2024 too. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is the CM Punk and Seth Rollins promo. It's going to be a rough review. I'm not going to talk, go into detail into uh, much of the things that have happened. Just probably the headlines and all. So CM Punk and Seth Rollins promo, I think it was really good. I think I think one thing that uh, Seth Rollins, I think, had some lines which were good, but Punk's were way better and made much more sense. But it also showed a few things that characters like CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the world of the WWE, they are loved by the fans, but they're essentially assholes. I mean, Punk said that I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. That if you if apart from his corporate shell lines that Seth Rollins talked about, like taking the ball and going home, the that you don't have a kid, you won't know, the Becky line, and then saying that you were tearing apart the company that I was in and everything. There was something which was there were some lines which were just like corporate shell lines, but apart from that, there was some content which was true. I mean, Punk did not just trash Vince McMahon, as CM Punk said that he loved his job in WWE, but he left because of Vince. He trashed everything. He he not only WWE, on wrestling as a whole. For years and years, he didn't want anything to do with wrestling or WWE. He used to like sometimes, trash on fellow wrestlers too. You gotta make Roman look strong and all that. And suddenly, after years, I'm talking the world of kayfabe. Suddenly, after the years, he decides to come back to the WWE, and he's like, I love WWE, I love fans, they're cheering for him. If you look at Rollins' character must be feeling like, I've been doing the same thing for years and I didn't leave. I've been doing the I love WWE, the company, I love the WWE fans for like years. I didn't leave the company for that. I was here even in the bad times, but Punk is doing the same thing that I did, but after doing all the other stuff. So I think it really showed that how Seth feels wronged in a lot of things, and I think this would probably lead a lot of this will lead to Seth eventually either turning heel next week or either turning heel some way at the Rumble or at the Saturday night's main event. Because first I think that whoever wins in this Punk versus Rollins match is going to face Gunther at the Saturday night's main event show, because I think I don't know how many matches happened at Royal Rumble last year, but I think this time there'll probably be 4 matches. I mean, the 2 Royal Rumble matches are going to go for long. So 3 matches are already there, and I think the fourth will probably be Rhea versus Becky or Rhea versus Becky versus Liv. Like some combination of this will happen, and I think the other 2 world titles will probably be defended at the Saturday night's main event, with Gunther getting a main event. And I think it is good that Gunther gets more main events. Like he has got 2 till now. I think one was against Randy Orton at Bash at Berlin, and one was him facing Cody at Crown Jewel. So I think it will be good if he gets that main event, and there you can see whoever wins, probably losing by the distraction of the Punk or Rollins. So I think also that Raw was like good. Like it felt, almost 15,000 people, sold out arena, Houston, Texas, a December Raw, especially a year-ending Raw. Like the six-man tag was good fun. I think I mean, they are holding things off from the Netflix premiere also. Like they pushed the women's IC title finals to the second week of the Netflix Raw, and I think probably Damien versus Finn will also probably happen at the second Raw, off Netflix, or probably it will happen at Saturday Night's main event. I think one of these things, and it's going to be like a no holds barred or something like that, and that's how they end these things. Judgment Day got Def Rebelled also. The theme is not that bad, but when you have the other side as your theme, and then you go to this generic Def Rebel shit, I mean, it shows. And it also shows that where the faction has fallen. Like, they could have done something with this faction. I'm not saying it would have been as good as it was, when Rhea and Damien were there, but why not? They could have added, some replacements of Rhea or Damien, much more subservient ones. You could have built it in Finn's character that he got his own, Damien and Rhea, but they were more subservient versions of them. You could have done stuff, but now they are just here, and I think probably they're going to be a group till Mania, and then probably they're going to break up after that, and probably you will have Finn go to SmackDown and the rest of the Judgment Day getting split up. I think that's what's happening. Then the New Day segment was really good. They booed the hell out of them. Jey Uso comes out. He says New Day sucks. I mean, I think the direction is that um, if Biggie does not get the clearance, it will probably be the New Day versus Usos at Mania for the tag titles. I think that is the plan. If Biggie does not get cleared, because I think next week it is pretty clear that Penta is debuting, and it's a big thing that they're making a big statement also. Like Penta coming from the AEW after all this controversy, and they're debuting them on their biggest show. Like this can actually change stuff for WWE and for wrestling as a whole on Netflix. And Ray will have his own challenger going to face the New Day, where New Day roasted them backstage. Ray was like, I'll meet you next week in a tag match, which Ray will have his own special partner, and it will be Pentagon. And I hope it's like a one and done thing. Probably the one thing is, if Penta is going to stay at the Raw roster, what is he going to do? Like, I can't see him going into the IC. If you're not going to have him in the IC title, there's no point in him going into the IC division. So I don't like it, but they're probably going to stick him into LWO only, and it's stereotypical, and it deserves criticism if it happens, because sticking another luchador into the LWO size hole, I don't know what they're going to do with this, and that's what's going to happen. I think even the week 2, maybe you'll see some kind of number 1 contenders tag team tournament happening, or some gauntlet match happening for the War Raiders tag. So I like that they are saving things for the second week also. They're not saving that many prominent things, but they're saving enough that they're like, just not blow all of your load at the premiere. Pause. But I think they'll do well. And also, Jay was there. Solo had his regular promo. Drew attacked Jay from behind, and then it was decided that Drew and Jay will have a match at the Raw Netflix premiere. So it shows that they have cut a lot of stuff, but putting Drew and Jay there shows, first of all, how much over Jay is, and second, how much over Drew is, and how much they have, faith and trust in his stardom, that they're showcasing him at the Netflix show. Then we had 2 really great women's IC title the tournament matches, Dakota versus Zoe. I think Zoe carried Dakota to a great match, and also Zoe had a sick backbreaker. Also, one thing, Dakota had a big backbreaker, and also the thing with Dakota is that the thing with Zoe is that if she didn't have such bad mic skills and such a nothing character, if she had something better than both of these things, she would have been in a better situation. And you see that they put faces against Zoe Stark because they know that she can get a good match out of them. She can get something out of these people, and she does that. So I hope that she improves. And Dakota did well too. And then Lyra versus Io was awesome. It was a really good match. They've always had great chemistry. They were given time. So and also like Lyra versus Io was the last match on the Raw on USA Network. On the last match on Raw on cable television, standard television. It was the last match ever, and it shows that there'll be no more wrestling on Monday nights. Like it's been 20 plus years since Raw has been on Monday nights, and it will not be on cable TV. But in India, it will be on Sony Live and Sony Sports till the end of March. So we are fine. It will be really weird to see, Raw's Netflix premiere, but on Sony. It will be really weird to see that going going into April. And also we had, there were video packages for Roman and Solo. Also, there was a video package for Rhea and Liv, and the way the video package was staged, it felt like it is the last time we are going to see Rhea and Liv. The contents of Rhea's promo and the contents of the promo, it showed that this was it. Like this is going to be it for Rhea and Liv. Last woman standing match is going to be it, and it has to. And Rhea also has to step up. Rhea was, let's not forget that Rhea was champion for like a year before like she got injured, and then they did the Becky thing, Liv wins from Becky and everything. But she had a reign, few good matches, but apart from that, not much to write home about. So, so Rhea also has to step up. I hope now that Lyra has won her match, what I think is probably going to happen is maybe Dakota wins the IC title. I think it will be kind of good because in my mind I am building a title feud which is basically Becky and Lyra going after the tag titles at Mania. I know people will say that's too low for Becky, or why they are doing this, why not Becky versus Lyra. I think you can build a long term storyline where it eventually leads to like a, a mentor, kind of jealous of their protege, leading to a heel Becky, and then Lyra after, going into like mid next year or something. I think Becky and Lyra winning the titles at Mania, with like probably Lyra getting the pin, some hesitation on Becky's face, like maybe her time has come and everything. You can do stuff with that, which I think will be better than a straight, Lyra is the champion and now Becky will face her and everything. So, in my opinion, I will do that with Lyra. You can have Dakota win, and probably the thing is, people are not going to be happy, but as some Twitter accounts said, I don't know what it was, the lower card heels are the Pure Fusion Collective, so probably they will go against the Pure Fusion Collective only. That's what's gonna happen. They're probably going to go against the Pure Fusion Collective only. So then I think that was the show. The CM Punk, I talked about CM Punk and Seth Rollins promo. I think the last lines were really good, though they went a little bit too far. I think, who was the account? Andy Blue, that I don't know who was it, who said that the arrow metaphor, they dragged it a little, but it was really good that you bring your fire arrows I'll bring my rings of fire or something like that, and I will burn you to the ground. Rollins said, and like that got me hyped up for the match next week. And the way that they have built this, it shows it. I think it is going to be the main event. I think probably starting the show and the mid show, they're probably going to have the things that they feel that are going to draw the most viewers. I think Roman versus Solo may start the show, or maybe semi-main event or between the show. I don't think Roman and Solo are main eventing. They're not main eventing. I think the way the show ended on a CM Punk and Seth, Mike segment, I think that's what's gonna happen. I just hope that they do stuff with Braun and Gunther. It feels like both of them, they are in their own little like corners. If you look at weekly television, like Braun is, you can have like Braun not be on TV for like weeks. No one will notice that much. Then he shows up, then he has like a 2-3 week feud, and then he goes away. Same with Gunther. Like, I'm not going to say that they have botched Gunther's own title reign. It has been good in its own little corner, but it has not been the main focal point of the show. But that can be said about Damien Priest also. And he was the champion because there are people more over than them. There are stories that are more over than them. But even then, I thought that the world title was like the main goal, or it did mean a lot. In this, it feels like Gunther is in its own little, corner. But I hope now going into 2025, because I think probably the next challenger to Gunther is going to be Rollins or Punk. It will be the main focal point of the show again. And even if it is not the main, like I remember when CM Punk was the champion a long time back in his 434 days title reign, there were many a times where he was not the main focus of the show. But after Cena, he was the focus of the show. Maybe he was not the main focus, but he was on the second most. But it feels like when Gunther is the champion, he's not the second focus. It's first is the Rollins, Sammy, Bloodline, and everything else. Then it's the Judgment Day, and then it's maybe probably Gunther. So I hope they rectify that going into 2025. I will do like a best and worst of 2024, and also I will do like a predictions about what I see will happen in wrestling going forward, in wrestling and cricket going forward in 2025. I'll make those videos too tomorrow. This has been coming a little late. I know I am a little bit lazy. I need to get on it. I need to find videos, react to them. I need to like pump out, churn out content like never before. I think my main problem is mostly the sharing part. I don't even mind recording the videos or uploading. It's about sharing them on Twitter, Insta, Snapchat, everything. Like that part like is very draining to me. So that, and Chad Gable and Otis had a good match, which was like people were surprised that Gable beat Otis. I mean, was it necessary? In a way, I get it. Storyline wise, no, because first of all, they dropped the storyline 7-8 months ago when it was ripe hot. They went back to it like 2 weeks ago, which it still kind of works because the crowd was so into Gable and everything, and no, into Otis and everything. Storyline wise, if you see, it just seems like Gable kept bullying Otis about being a loser, and he proved it in the end. Like Gable just beat Otis. And also, what happened to the American Made and the LWO feud? Like it just ended out of nowhere. What was the last match? Was it like the Creed versus LWO, or was it like Gable versus Dragon Lee or Gable versus Rey Mysterio? Like I don't even remember that. Like they dropped that feud also. This felt like the end of that feud. Like Gable has finished his business with Otis now, and I think the American made are going to SmackDown. I just hope they drop the funny gimmick. Like I get like they are acting like roided up America first crazies or anything, but I think the only way to research the American made is not to make them like these uh, you know roided up, overexcited, patriotic heels. Just make them serious heels. I think that should be the main goal. I think on SmackDown, it's going to be a good future for them going forward. I don't know about titles, but I think they will be featured more at least. They'll be much more featured on the show. And maybe Gable will get that elusive singles title too one day. Maybe, let's see. So that was my review of the final Raw of 2024 and the final Raw on the USA Network. So like this video. If you like this type of content, like, share, and subscribe. If you don't, share it with those who do. My social media links are in the description. My Twitter and Instagram link is in the description. Follow me on that. My UPI ID @OKICICI is also there in the description. Please donate if you can, because I want to make YouTube a permanent career. And that was that for today. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.